Hello out there, Denture family. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the most common denture problems. Stay tuned. Hello out there, Denture family. We're going to change this up a little bit. Start with a little new intro before we start the other intro. Thought to make it a little interesting now. But I want to talk today about the most common denture problems. If you wear dentures, it's important to keep your mouth clean and healthy, okay? You should also only wear dentures that fit properly. And I know we all have issues with ill-fitting dentures, especially if we are placed in immediate dentures after our extractions. But if they are ill-fitting dentures, that you may have some of the following problems, and that's gum and mouth irritation, problems eating and speaking, dentures that flop around in your mouth, or mouth infections, or all of the above. In treating your denture problems, and if you see me looking over to the side, I'm checking my notes to make sure that I give you guys the most complete information that I can. But if you're having problems with the dentures, you want to see your dentist as soon as possible. They may need to be adjusted, have a reliner put in, or they might even need to be replaced, especially if you've had them for a few years. But there's some of the best ways to treat the most common denture problems, of course, to making sure your dentures fit. If you're in immediate dentures, then get your soft reline at your dentist office, or use a product like Denture Fit. There's also a ProSoft. There's a Walmart Reline It. Those are, I've used all of those except ProSoft. I have not used that yet, but I have used the Walmart brand and the Denture Fit, and of all above, I much prefer the Denture Fit. It really makes my dentures feel much more solid in my mouth. They fit so much better when I have that in there, because right now I'm in immediates and I'm 2 months away from getting my permanents. And then I'm well aware that getting my permanents, especially that early, that I'm still going to be healing, even though my healing process has slowed down to a very minimal pace right now. I still have a long ways to go before I'm healed. I'm speaking of someone that I know. Bill Westland is 2 years and 8 months out from having his extractions and dentures placed, and he is having issues at this time with ill-fitting dentures. So, it can be a lifelong process, because over time, as you age, your mouth, your bones are all going to adjust and change throughout time. So your dentures, I think the normal range is 5 to 10 years or 5 to 7 years in wearing your permanent set of dentures, and then you would either need to get a hard reline or get a new set of dentures at that point in time. So, speak slowly. When you first get your dentures, it's going to be hard for you to say certain words in certain letters like S, K, G, amongst others. So you want to be patient and you want to practice. You can sing. I used to turn on YouTube and put on my favorite songs, or turn on my playlist and play certain songs and just sing as loudly as I could with them. And reading out loud, writing, and then speaking out loud. Just in any way you can think of to use your mouth, use your tongue, use your voice to get used to getting to your dentures. And that's going to speed up that process of you getting used to wearing your dentures. Practice say challenging words, like Susie sells seashells by the seashore. Say that 5 times fast. But if your dentures move around when you laugh or smile, one of the things you can do is you can gently bite down and you can swallow to try to keep them in place. Also, for example, I don't use adhesive on my lowers to keep them in place, and I use my tongue. And that's one of the tricks I learned from Bill Westland, is to use your tongue to hold your lowers in place. I have Denture Fit in them right now, and right now they're staying in place. I've got suction with them, but I'm also using my tongue to hold them in place. There's also a product out that I have not tried yet. It's called Stable Dent, and it places two little wings. You can see that at the bottom of your dentures, inside your dentures right here. It places these little wings, sorry, in your dentures that helps your tongue hold them down and in place. So, check with your dentist as soon as you can to adjust your fit if necessary. Your soft reline, hard reline, or whether you're due to get your permanency if you've gone with that kind of package with your dental program. Eat soft foods. If you're having trouble eating, you want to follow these tips. You want to take small bites. And don't take a big old honking bite of a huge hamburger. I've made that mistake, and it's not pretty watching me try to chew that. Don't eat anything sticky. Caramel, those sugar daddy bars, remember those? Sugar babies, those little round caramelly sticky things. Don't eat anything like that. Chew your food slowly. You want to make sure you're chewing thoroughly and slowly. And when you chew, if you can, and I've learned to do this now, use both sides of your mouth to chew on, and it will help that bite and help you chew them up properly. This will help you get used to your dentures. It will also get easier over time, and you have to practice, practice, practice. Just because you couldn't eat something the first time you tried it doesn't mean that a few days or a week later you can't try the same thing. It's one of the things I loved about Bill's videos, and I'm going to be talking about Bill a lot today because he's really, really inspired a lot of people, and including myself. But practice, 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 and never give up. I can eat celery now. When a month ago I couldn't eat celery. I couldn't bite through that fibrous vegetable. But I can eat it now. I ate some yesterday. If you have to use an adhesive. Now, I know if you're fresh and new to wearing dentures, your dentist has probably told you not to use adhesive for the first 2 or 3 weeks. What I did is I didn't use it. What I did, I think it was about 2 weeks out when they were seriously loose and flopping and it wouldn't stay in. I would use adhesive. I used the powder adhesive on my palate on the uppers. Didn't use them around the gum line because that was still pretty raw and fresh. And I didn't use, there's a C-bond material that I used on my bottoms, and that helped the bottom stay in place when I was early on, right after my dentures, and I was still trying to practice and chew. So you might want to think about those products. They should not be used. You should not be using adhesive to fix old or poorly fitting dentures. In that case, you need to get to your dentist and get your soft reline, your hard reline, or new dentures if you're in that stage of the game. If you've had dentures for years, you may need a new set of dentures. So, you might want to think about those options. Mouth infections that are linked to dentures. There are several. There's something called cheilitis, which is a painful infection that causes inflammation and cracking right here at the corners of your mouth. I had it early on. It is caused by an overgrowth of yeast, and you can also get yeast throughout your mouth too. But that's generally what this is called, is from that overgrowth of yeast in your mouth. And the things you can do with that is your saltwater rinses from day one, several times a day, saltwater rinses, warm saltwater rinses. Use my dentist gave me chlorhexidine, and I used that religiously. Every time I was supposed to use it, I was using that chlorhexidine. That prevented me, I believe, from getting yeast, although I did get those little areas in the corners of my mouth, and it didn't last long. I mean, I was absolutely religious about using that saltwater rinses. When I got that, I increased that saltwater rinse and that chlorhexidine to get rid of that, and it was gone pretty quickly. There's also something called stomatitis. It's another infection. It's also caused by too much yeast. So you may not know that you have denture-induced stomatitis because your symptoms are not always obvious. When symptoms are noticeable, you might see red bumps on the roof of your mouth or general mouth redness, especially under your upper dentures. Both of this can be treated with medication early on. If you get it caught early and get to your dentist, you can also get a mouth rinse or an oral medication that will help you get rid of that. So, next step. Let's talk about caring for those dentures. You want to make sure that they fit well, if at all possible. And I know that if you've had poorly made dentures, you want to really, really push to get those remade. If they weren't made right in the first place, no amount of adjusting or soft relines or hard relines are going to fix a poorly made denture. They need to be remade. And that means if you have to sit your butt in the dentist chair until they admit or agree to remaking those dentures, then you sit your butt in the dentist chair. Insist on speaking with the dentist. Insist on speaking with the denturist. If they have an in-office lab, insist on speaking to that person who's going to be making your dentures. Tell them what your problems are. If you have to write them down, write them down. If you have to take a family member, a friend, a spouse, someone with you to the dentist to help remind you that you need to be, proactive and that you stand up for yourself, because a lot of times they try to make you think like you don't know what you're talking about, and you do, because you're wearing dentures. They're not. Think about that. But if at all possible, now I know there are some situations where some people have to sleep in their dentures due to TMJ syndrome or other issues, and I understand that. But you want to take them out as often as you can and clean your dentures. If you're having to wear them overnight, you want to clean them no less than twice a day, more often if at all possible. But in general, never sleep with your dentures. Unless your dentist wants you to do so for a specific time, like when you first have extractions, my dentist wanted me not to touch them for the first 24 hours. And I went in for a post-op check, and she took them out. She took the teeth out and checked my extraction sites and then put them back in. So, but if at all possible, you want to be sure that you never sleep in your dentures. Okay? Make sure you handle your dentures with care. They are delicate, they are acrylic, and they can break. It might take 5 times dropping them in the sink before they'll break, but each time you drop them in the sink or on the floor or whatever, it causes the dentures to become less, I'm not sure what the right word is, but each time makes it more apt to crack because it wears down the dentures in order to do that. So that second time, that third time, that fifth time, dropping them in the sink or on the floor may be what the catalyst is that actually breaks. And sometimes they may break the first time, especially if they weren't made correctly in the first place. But you want to make sure that you're handling them with care. Put a towel in your sink to cushion in case you drop them, because those suckers are slippery when you're trying to clean them. Believe me. Yeah. But fill the sink with water. Put a towel in your sink and fill it up with water. That will cushion any kind of fall that happens when you're trying to clean your dentures, okay? It's much easier to take a towel out of the sink and wring it out and hang it up than it is to deal with a broken set of dentures and having to, especially if you have to go to work the next day or you have some kind of public event, family get-together, church, anything like that, that you have to go to the next day and you want to be able to wear your dentures. So you want to think about that. Make sure that they are safely out of the reach of children and pets. Dogs are notorious for grabbing dentures, running off with them, and chewing on them. They chew on shoes, they chew on each other, they chew on table legs, any other furniture, they rip couches apart. Granted, my dog doesn't do that, neither one of them. But I've had a dog in the past that actually chewed up furniture, and my dog will rip up upholstery. Well, not the couch, but he has ripped up pillows, including my favorite pillow. This is on Princess of quite a lot, and I was very devastated when he ate my pillow. Anyway. Okay, back to the subject at hand. But you wanted to, make sure that you keep them out of reach of dogs and pets and children. The small children, they can drop them, throw them. Toddlers, they, gotta love them. Gotta love them. It's in the mom, it's in the mom contract that they make you sign when you take your baby home. Also called a birth certificate. You want to clean them daily. Every night I take my dentures out. I have my routine. I go in them, I take my dentures out. I usually take them out here at my desk, and if I have adhesive on the upper of my mouth, I'll kind of peel it out a little bit. A lot of times I don't have to because I'm using Dr. B's adhesive a lot, although right now I've not been, since I put the denture feed in, I've just been using powder adhesive, and it's been holding quite well. But I take them out and usually drink some soda, because if there's any adhesive in my mouth, soda will kind of get it off. Anyway, I go in the bathroom, I brush them, I put them in my sonic cleaner for about 10 minutes. And while I'm waiting on that, I brush my gums, the roof of my mouth, inside my cheeks, inside my lips, inside and outside of the gums. So I make sure that I absolutely clean, and then I rinse my mouth out with, I use a Colgate Gum Health. It's supposed to make your gums stronger. I hope it works. But I've used a whole bottle, and I'm in my second bottle of that now. I use that every night, and then I wash my face while I'm waiting on the sonic cleaner to finish up. Wash my face, take my makeup off, take my mascara off, witch hazel, I'm using a, what is that? Lemongrass Spa facial cleanser, moisturizer, that kind of stuff. And I get ready for bed. And once I'm done with that, I take my dentures out of the sonic cleaner, I rinse them off, and I store them in my denture container with warm water. You don't want to use hot water because it can warp your dentures. If you don't have a reliner in there, you want to soak your dentures overnight in a denture cleaner. And there's all kinds of stuff out on the market, Polydent, Efferdent, that kind of stuff out on the market. Or you could leave them in Dr. B's. If you have that, Dr. B's, you could leave them in there overnight. But if you have a soft reliner, whether it be Denture Fit, your dentist soft reliner, any of those, you want to just clean them and then store them in water. When you're brushing, you want to use a soft bristled brush. I use a toddler toothbrush to brush my teeth with. They have special denture cleaning brushes, but honestly, those bristles are so hard. I can picture my gums, my dentures being scratched as I use that thing. So, no, I'm not going to use that. I use a toddler toothbrush. Same thing, not the same brush I use on my gums, but I use toddler toothbrushes on my gums. Spot on my computer. So, you also want to try massaging your gums. That helps get the blood flow going and help keep it clean and healthy and all of that. So, okay. Like I said, you want to make sure you're storing them properly. Store them in a denture cleaning solution or in warm water. Don't use hot water because hot water may cause your dentures to warp. So, honestly, wearing your dentures is difficult. My notes down here says it can be difficult. Well, I know for a fact, and just about everybody I know out there that has started wearing dentures, it is hard. It's very difficult at first, but it'll take time to get used to them. But you can prevent denture problems by taking good care of your mouth, your face, what's inside your face, as Donna would say, and by taking really good care of your dentures and being proactive with your dentist, making sure you're getting to your soft relines, that you're getting to your dentist if you have noticed any problems going on, like any redness or bumps or anything like that. That could be yeast, anything like that. And another little plug for Dr. B's Clean-A-Dent is that this stuff can help prevent infections in your mouth. So I highly, highly, highly recommend using that. But there are other toothpastes out there too that are really good. But personally, I use Dr. B's and I absolutely love it because it's got the tea tree oil and vitamins in it, and it can help. It helps prevent dry mouth, and it works. For me, it works. Doesn't hurt you to try it. All you have to do is try it. You can contact them. A lot of times they will send you free samples. Margaret on Denture Talk and Kayla from Kayla Bowen from Kayla's Bite of Reality and Donna Sloan are often doing giveaways where they're giving away such products. So you might want to check out their channels if you haven't already. But if you notice any changes in the way your dentures fit, just make sure you contact your dentist right away. Okay, if you're not happy with your dentist, if at all possible, and I know in a lot of situations it's not possible, ask to see another dentist in the practice. Contact the owner of your clinic if you're not happy with the way your dentist and their staff is treating you. If you're not happy with the way the staff is treating you, insist to see the dentist. You have the right to do so. You're paying them for a service. And if they're not providing it properly, then you need to make sure that the dentist, and if it's a dental practice, make sure that the practice owner is well aware of it. If it's a corporation like Affordable Dentures or Aspen, you can contact corporate, and a lot of times they will do their best to make it right, or at least give you a refund so you can go somewhere else to get your dentures. Okay? Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope to see you soon. God bless, and I'll see you next time.